What up, my fellow dorks? It is the Turtle Dork back with a new recap and review for Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 3. This is Breaker of Chains. Me and Disco may have some disagreements with the final scene, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Motherfucker.
Directed by Alex Graves. I'm Turtle Dork. This is Disco Dork. Let's get into this shit. All right. So, opening scene. We pick up right where we left off with the death of Joffrey. So, I got Sansa escapes Sir Dante's death. So, we kind of pick up right where we left off, where Cersei is blaming Tyrion because, you know, Joffrey pointed at him and he has the cup. And so they take Tyrion, but then we have like a mad dash, a mad scramble. Like everything is kind of hectic, and Sir Dantes comes and grabs Sansa, and then the first thing everybody is saying is like, "Where's Sansa? Where's Sansa? We need to get her, find her," and all this stuff. And so he takes her and cut to the boat where they're going out to sea where Baelish's boat is at. And so she escapes to Baelish's boat, and then they assassinate basically Sir Dantes. Basically, he was working with Baelish. That whole story that he told Sansa in one of the earlier episodes seems to have been a lie. But I don't know, man. It was just kind of weird how all that stuff kind of happened all at once. What did you think of that opening sequence?
I mean, it was cool. I like the fact that it picks up immediately after Joffrey's death. I mean, because, you know, with an event as big as that, that is a pivotal moment for many characters in the show, specifically Sansa and Tyrion in this instance, because it puts both of them on a particular path that they weren't necessarily on prior to Joffrey's death. And so I like how it picks up like immediately following those events, because you know, you gotta remember when the show aired, like that was the last thing you saw. Yeah. And then, you know, you're waiting like, oh shit, next week what's gonna happen? Yeah. Especially if you're a fan of Tyrion and Sansa, because you immediately know that they're going to be blamed for it. So you're like, oh shit, it's not going to be good for them. So I like the fact that the episode picks up with them. But to go to what you were saying about Sir Dantes and what happens to him on that boat, it's fucked up because, you know, Peter is there to receive Sansa on the boat, and immediately, like, he doesn't even wait. Like, why he assassinates that dude in front of her, I don't get it, because especially because she's just like, it just makes her, the scene plays her as not necessarily aloof, but so his men aim their crossbows down at Sir Dantes, who's in the smaller boat, and he gets shot in the face with an arrow.
Yeah, he does.
Right in front of Sansa. She screams, and Peter, you know, he talks his shit like, yo, I told you before, everyone's liars, you know, you can't trust this dude, he's a drunk and a fool, he only saved you. But she's like, but he saved my life. He said, well, he only saved you for gold. But basically, he just didn't, Peter's reasoning for killing him, as far as what he tells Sansa is bullshit. Basically, Peter does not want anyone connecting him back, to, you know, him having taken Sansa away.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, of course, he's not going to tell Sansa that. But the fact that...
Yeah, but why would he do that in front of her? I mean, that's something that you could have did without her seeing that, because now it almost feels like she's almost an accomplice to what happened at the wedding.
Yeah, that, but also it just makes her, because... If he had got her on the boat and said, you know, you've had a rough day, let's get you to your quarters, and then
go back,
take homeboy out, like out in front of her, she would have been none the wiser, because they're leaving, and Peter could have just told her that, oh, okay, we sent him on his way, he's good, and everything would have been okay. But the fact that he kills him in front of Sansa, and then he gives her his reasoning, and then she is okay with it. I mean, she's still shaken up by the fact that she just saw a dude get shot in the face. But the fact that she walks away and she's okay with it, for me, I'm like, wow, how could you, like, that doesn't put you on suspicion as far as Peter goes?
Well, I don't know. Like, hearing you say that is making me think, like, okay, maybe this is all just showing Sansa, like, how the world really is, and ultimately what ends up happening to Peter Baelish at the hands or at the orders of Sansa and Arya, and maybe this is kind of building to that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's enough after this moment Like, if you just took this out, there's more than enough after this moment for her to still give that order.
I mean, what happens to Eliza in the Eyrie?
Yeah.
That's enough right there.
I don't even remember. I forgot. I was like, that too. But
we'll get there. We'll get there. But I think maybe they're just kind of like planting those seeds so that Arya starts to kind of see as far as like who Baelish really is and how the world works and stuff like that. This is just stuff that I'm just maybe that's the reasoning for why they decided to put that into the show. But you're right. I think it wouldn't have made any difference if she would have saw that or not. Especially for us as the audience. In the sept, the conversation between Tywin and Tommen, because Tommen is now going to be the next king, and we see Joffrey's dead body on the table there. And Tywin is basically talking to Tommen, saying, so you're going to be the next king. So tell me, what do you think it takes to be a good king? And Tom is sitting here thinking, it's that old thing where like your parents or your uncle or somebody is talking to you. You're like 11, 12, 13 years old, and they looking for an answer, and you sitting up here trying to say the right thing, and everything you saying is wrong. And you like, motherfucker, just tell me what you mean. Like, stop doing this rigmarole, whatever you're doing. So he's like, all right, so what does it take? And Tom, man, what did he say first? He said, holiness.
Yeah.
He said holiness. He's like, oh, well, holiness, such and such king was holy, but you see what happened to him. He got this such and such happened to him. And he was like, well, maybe it's justice. Yeah. So, justice, sir or king such and such was just, and his brother killed him in his sleep. And he was like, well, does it take strength? And well, Robert Baratheon was strong. And you see what happened to him. He was a drunk and a whore, and he died. And he's like, oh, and you can see Thomas like, come on, man, just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Like, he's like.
And ultimately, it comes down to wisdom. But, my big takeaway from this scene is the fact that, previously in this show, and you remarked a lot about how Tywin always seems like legacy is his big thing, and
that's why I took away too.
Yeah. But in this scene, to me, it feels like Tywin. It feels like he's trying to be the king without being the king.
Well, he's always been doing that.
Like, but to me, the focus is less on legacy as being an importance to him. Then for me, it just became blatantly obvious that I want to be king, but since I technically can't be the king, I'm going to be the king, and you're just going to be a figurehead.
And he tells him that up front. Basically, he says, look, in order to be a good king, you have to heed the advice of your council until you're of age, and a good king even does it even afterwards.
Right.
So yeah, you could definitely see him doing that. I don't know, man. It's interesting too, because Tywin, like you said, he care. You definitely see that he doesn't care about his family, because of what he's talking to Tommen right over Joffrey's body when Cersei is there trying to mourn over the loss of her son.
Yeah.
And it's just that dichotomy of seeing Cersei there, who we know. And Tyrion even remarks in a scene we'll get to a little bit that, she loves her children.
Yeah.
And Tywin is all about the family name. And in that moment, you see those differences just in Cersei mourning over Joffrey and Tywin talking to Tommen. And it's just like you see those two differences of where they're at. And I just thought that I don't know, it was mad disrespectful to be doing that at that time. And Cersei even remarks, it's like, look, this is not the time or place to be doing this.
That day, there was zero respect in that sept from anybody.
Well,
other than Cersei.
Yeah, so let's get to the second half of that scene when Jaime comes in there. And so they're basically talking, and
Cersei wants Jaime to get revenge.
Yeah, she wants revenge. She wants revenge against Tyrion. And this goes to one of my theories that I think is going to end up happening in season 8. But I mean, that relationship between Tyrion, Cersei, and Jaime, I think is all going to come to a head in season 8. I think it has to. And we see that when Cersei asks Jaime or requests that Jaime kills Tyrion for revenge of what happened to Joffrey, because she really believes that Tyrion was the one that killed him. Jaime's like, wait a minute, like, we can't. That's our brother. We can't do that. Yeah. And she just starts to break down.
Because Jaime, I don't think Jaime believes that Tyrion did it.
I don't think he does either. Point. Yeah.
So that's another reason why he's like, wait, we can't do this. First, because Jaime says, well, first he needs to go to trial. We need to do it like the right way.
The right way.
But I think, you know, he's really is hesitant because he believes that it wasn't Tyrion who did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing kind of plays out. But like you were saying, man, disrespectful. They end up fucking in the sept right next to their son's dead body.
So this is another questionable thing as far as the writing of the show. Like I don't know. Like, was that necessary? What is the point of that? Like, and it's rape basically.
Yeah, it is. Because she's resisting. I mean, they're doing that thing you see back and forth where she's you know she has the passion, but she's not wanting.
She doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't want to do it.
So it's rape.
And and she even says, you know, this isn't right. This isn't right. And he's like, I don't care. And it's, I don't know. It's just, I don't see the purpose or the reasoning for that at that time. At that particular time in the scene or in the episode at all.
Yeah.
Arya and the Hound, when they find shelter with that family.
You can't take the Hound nowhere.
With the father and the daughter. I didn't get the father's name. I think the daughter's name was Sally. So they're cleaning and feeding the horses and washing the horses off right below a bridge. And this family comes by and they're like, I forgot what he says, 7 blessings to you. And so they basically take them in. They say, look, you know, my daughter can make a mean rabbit stew. And the Hound's ears just perk up. He's like, oh, really? Okay. And so they take him in. They're saying the blessings, a little bit of comedy where he's like, look, hurry up because I'm trying to eat. They eat the stew. So, you know, the guy is looking at the Hound. And he's looking at his size and his stature. He's like, I might need some help around here. You know, my daughter can't really lift the hay. He was like, you know, I got, fair pay for fair work, equal pay for equal work. And the Hound's like, okay, I can do that, because he says that he has some silver. And so then we cut to the next morning, and Arya comes out there, and basically the Hound has stolen the guy's money.
Yeah.
And Arya's just not having it. And, you know, it's like they have a little argument between the two of them, and the Hound is telling them, it's like, look, this guy is weak. Winter is coming. He's got no use for this money. We need this silver. And he's like, Arya's just like, no, he took us in. You can't just take money from somebody like that. So I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting dynamic to see between Arya and the Hound, but then also, just like you said, the Hound, which is a character that we both like, but you could just see that he gives no fucks, you know.
Well, earlier you remarked, you were saying that, well, maybe what Peter did in front of Sansa is to show her, well, this is how the world is, or whatever.
Yeah.
This scene between Arya and Hound
kind of
plays specifically to that.
Yeah.
In that, you know, Arya is like, well, these are nice people. You just did a bad thing to these nice people. And the Hound is telling Arya, well, this is the type of world we live in. Bad things happen to good people. And because the Hound remarks, she's like, well, you can't just take their silver. And she said, and the Hound says, well, they'll be dead by winter anyway. And she's like, you don't know that. And he turns around and he says, you know, they're weak and they can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
Winter's coming and the bandits are coming and they'll be dead by winter. Dead people don't need silver. And granted, that doesn't mean it's okay to take that silver. But what he's saying about the world that they live in, that Arya lives in, is true. And it's important for that character because she's ultimately going to become someone who adapts to this world. So I think that's the important takeaway for this scene to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam and Gilly. So Sam wants to keep Gilly safe. So they're back at Castle Black, and of course they're there with the crows, and That's not a place because there's no women allowed. You know, NWA, no women allowed. New group coming at you. No, that's but yeah, it's just interesting because now she's there. Sam is like, look, we gotta take you somewhere to keep you safe because, you know, men are gonna be gawking at you, you know, what they're thinking. And Gilly's like, no, they're fine. Like, I'm good here. He's like, no. He's like, we'll take you to Molestown. You know, you'll be safe there. So let's talk a little about both of those scenes. So then we cut to Molestown.
I question if Sam had ever been to Molestown prior to this. Maybe he just heard about it and someone told him it's a safe place, because when we get there, that shit was worse than Castle Black.
Yeah, man. Like these women were coming up to Gilly, and like I was scared for her, and that's why I even remarked during the show. I was like, wait a minute, does Sam really think this place is safe? And like Gilly even says that. It's like, wait a minute, Sam, like this place is not safe for me to be at, more so than Castle Black. You gonna leave me here?
I think Sam was going by some false Yelp reviews.
Somebody must have told him.
He was like those are fake Yelp reviews saying them shits wasn't real, because the first lady that ended up talking to Gilly acted like she wanted to eat her damn baby.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm like, come on, like Sam getting some wrong information somewhere. It's like, well, my man told me that this place, so it's like, nah, bro.
And then he wants to leave her there. Like, that's the crazy part.
Yeah. I can't remember what actually happens. If she stays there, like, or how she gets away from there, or does she go back to Cat? Because they end up staying together, of course, where they're at now.
Yeah.
But but that's just I didn't understand Sam's thinking in that. I mean, I get what he was going for, because he feels that she's not going to be safe at Castle Black. And maybe that's the only other place that he thought that he could take her. But then after we see that place...
But you're going to take her there and leave her that's a dangerous place, exactly. Whereas opposed to being at Castle Black, a dangerous place. But you're there with her. You can look out for her there. Yeah. But there, you can't look out for her. Stannis. So we're back at Dragonstone. So he wants to take advantage of Joffrey's death. So he gets a letter. He gets a letter that says that Joffrey has died. Yeah.
And he was like, look, you know, when I took the leech from from the blood of a bastard, which was Gendry, you know, this is what I saw in the fire, and it ended up coming true. And now that Joffrey's dead, I don't have an army, I don't have anything. This is my prime time. This is prime time right here.
Yeah.
And he's coming at Davos, and Davos is like, look, I'm working on trying to get you an army. It's like,
if I was Davos, I'd be like, why don't you get the red woman to give you an army then? Why don't you stick your hand in the fire and pull the army out the fire then? You know, she do everything for you.
I know, right?
Like, cause it's not like Davos ain't trying. He's like, yo, I done spoke to 3 different groups of people and got them to commit to us or whatever. And Stannis throws that shit back in his face. So that's not enough. Like, bitch, what you want me to do then?
I know. And he mentions about the Golden Company, which is an army of sellswords, 10,000 sellswords, that we're going to see in the upcoming season, because I think Cersei is plotting to use the Golden Company. But I'm like, you got access to this stuff, and he's just getting on fucking Davos every single time when he's doing everything in his power that he can do.
The most loyal person, man. Like, the most loyal person he got on his staff right now. And he's still being a dick to that dude.
Yeah. This scene right here, man, is better than I thought it was. Tyrion and Podrick in his cell. It's a really good scene, man. And a really good scene for Podrick. For both of them. But the ending of that scene, and we talk about loyalty. We just talked about Davos and his loyalty. Podrick's loyalty to Tyrion. Just absolutely phenomenal the way that scene ended. But he's basically coming to visit Tyrion, and he's got some stuff in his boots to help him, you know, give him some food, some candles.
Put something in his commissary.
Here you go. And so he's getting some information from Podrick as far as, you know, what's going to end up happening. There's going to be a trial by jury. Who's on the jury? We get... Tywin, and actually I did skip a scene, but we can go back to that. But let's finish this one up. We got Tywin, we got Mace, what's the Tyrell? one of the Tyrells.
Oh, yeah.
And then Oberyn, the Viper. We got Prince Oberyn. And so I don't know, man. I like this scene because at this point Tyrion is looking for an ally. He's looking for somebody on his side. He's like, look, can you get Bronn? Can you bring my brother Jaime down here? And then Podrick tells him, like, look, they wanted me to, I guess, talk against him. Or I can't remember exactly what it was.
But they wanted to basically, and they wanted Podrick to say that he saw Tyrion
poison.
No, he saw Tyrion at the brothel being given the strangle. No, he wanted Podrick to say that he saw someone give Tyrion the potion called the Strangler.
Oh, the Strangler. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But Podrick was like, I'm not going to do that.
He's not going to do that. So I don't know, man. That was my biggest takeaway from that scene, was really just that loyalty that Podrick has to, and of course the way the scene ends.
Because Tyrion says, because they said that Podrick said that they offered me, they said they could make me a sir or whatever and offer me all this shit if I said that this happened. And Tyrion was like, well, what did you say? He's like, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He's like, well, the trial's in a fortnight, and they're going to be following you now that I'm locked up in here because you're my squire.
Yeah.
And they're going to be watching you. He said, you need to get out of King's Landing.
Yeah.
And Podrick's like, I'm not about to bounce while you in here. And he's like, I'm giving you an order. You have to go.
You gotta go.
This is goodbye.
Yeah.
And you can see how Podrick is hurt by that because he's loyal. He's going to listen to that order at the very least in this particular scene.
Yeah.
And right as he gets to the door, Tyrion calls his name one last time and says, there's never been a living squire, better than you.
Yeah.
And like that it made me terrible a little bit.
That was powerful. That was a powerful scene.
Just Tyrion is at the lowest point right now up until this point, and he's still making sure Podrick understands how appreciated he is, and what he's done for him, and everything that he's done for him, and then Podrick just being a genuinely good character, as an audience member, you like that validation. You like to see Podrick get that validation.
Exactly for him being loyal to.
Is he in later scene, like in the series, Podrick?
I believe so. I mean, okay. I think he is still.
Was he
around.
In 7? Season 7?
Yeah, he was in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in 7. So Podrick is still.
Podrick needs to be on the Iron Throne at the end.
Yeah, man. There's I don't know if you saw those Vegas odds of like who's going to be on the throne at the end of the series.
Yeah.
And they had like, I think at the top was Jon Snow, and then Daenerys and Cersei. At the bottom was like they had Davos. Bran was in there too, the Night King, and they had a couple of other people. But I think the highest odds was Jon Snow, the Vegas odds. I think they had Sam in there too. Because I was thinking about that, watching that. I was like, you know what? Sam and Gilly going to be on the Iron Throne. Just pick the most random person. I think Gendry was on that list too. Yeah. They had a couple people that were on there for Vegas odds. But yeah, you're right, man. Let's put Podrick up there. Let's get some good folks in there.
Yeah.
But let's take a step back to Tywin and Oberyn in the brothel. That was a really, really good scene.
Yeah, because we cut from where does Gilly get left? No, that was at Castle Black.
No, it was. It was when she got left at Mole's Town because we hear the baby crying, and then we cut to someone's cracking their ass. I'm like, yo, how do y'all do these transitions? I'm like getting all emotionally invested, and I'm hearing this baby cry, and then I cut to seeing someone's ass crack. I'm like, all right, Game of Thrones, do you, man?
I wonder what the meaning of that was, like the symbolism of that. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know, because you still hear the sound of the baby, and when you looking at the ass crack, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay, all right, man. I don't know, man. Symbolism, man. Filmmaking, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. The whole scene. I don't know, man. Like, I like Oberyn as a character because, I mean, you see him doing all this shit. The people of Dorne, they They love fucking, they love men and women, and they having a good time. But like when he gets away from that stuff, and then it's just him and Tywin in that room.
Yeah,
he's on a mission. Like, there's a reason why he's there, and he's not phased. He's not scared. He's not intimidated. He's not phased by Tywin. He tells him, like, I've studied poison. It's like, look, it's like, if you want, why am I not in the dungeon if you believe that I was the one that murdered your son or murdered your grandson? But he's like, look, I want vengeance for my sister, and the mountain, I need to talk to him. I want to see him. He's there for a mission, and I like that interaction between the two of them. And of course we see Tywin, who again is trying to build these allegiances because he does have the alliance with the Tyrells, and he's trying to build an alliance with Dorne because he's like, look, we can't rule until we have all the 7 kingdoms in the fold.
And well, also because, you know, Tywin is aware of Daenerys and her 3 dragons, and he said historically, Dorne are the only ones who've been able to conquer the dragon. Yeah,
they were only ones to defend against Aegon Targaryen, who was the last one to have dragons. So, it's interesting. I mean, we know what Oberyn's fate is, but I'm enjoying watching this now to see how
that shit was shocking.
We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. But yeah, that's. We're gonna get there.
Oh man, I did not see that shit coming.
Yeah, I thought he got his vengeance.
God damn! I was laughing my ass off.
Spoiler alert! I thought he got his vengeance. He did get his vengeance.
Did he?
For a second. All right, let's go to the wildlings when they raid that village. You know what caught me off guard, and something we talked about in the past, we talked about like filmmaking and stuff like that, is really getting into like the story of a character before you see their demise. And it's really, really quick, but the scene really opens up, and as a viewer, it's kind of shocking to see. But we see the kid, I wrote his name down, I think his name is Gaiman. He's there with his father, and his father is talking to him about, I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but he was saying something like, you know, we're going to fix dinner. I'm going to teach you how to do this, and blah, blah, knows how to make this great meal. And you can see their life encapsulated. And all of a sudden, he's got an arrow through his head and he's gone. And it's just like, fuck. I mean, it's just how life is fleeting. It's just like that. Like your life can be over. And it's done by fucking Ygritte, who's a character that we've come to grow and like and love.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I really remember seeing that for the first time, and that scene being shocking. And then ultimately, what we're going to end up seeing, the growth of that character, of that young kid, and then ultimately where his character goes in the series as well. Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, I just thought that raid was really well done. The way that they executed shooting that scene. What did you think of that scene?
I had totally forgotten that even happens in the show. Like, I totally forgotten about that. And then towards the, like, it wasn't until the kid was fleeing up under the cart and watching and looking at Ygritte that I was like, oh shit, that's the kid that stabs Jon Snow. Uh-huh. So I had totally forgotten that scene happened. Yeah.
So then we go back to Castle Black when the kid warns the crows as far as like everything that's happening. And so we're in Castle Black with Jon Snow, and the wildlings are coming, and then the 2 guys, I can't remember their names, who were part of that little melee that happened at Craster's place, they make their way back to the wall.
Oh yeah.
They say that the guy, his name is Carl, the Pacific Rim doctor dude. So he's basically there, and Jon is like, look, the wildlings are coming here. How long do you think before Carl lets them know? Because he's like, I told them we had 1,000 men at Castle Black.
He lied like shit.
Which should take one of them zeros away, dog. You got about 100. And he's like, look, we got to do something, because if they get to them, how long do you think they're going to torture them and get the real intel about how many men we got here? And Mance Rayder doesn't know it yet, but he outnumbers us, and they can easily take this shit over. So I don't know, man. I just thought that was an interesting scene to see between them, because now like things are becoming urgent for the crows.
Yeah.
As far as this war with the wildlings.
Well, it's a 2-pronged attack, and they're like in the middle. Yeah. You know, between each side. You know, they got wildlings south of them, and then they have a larger force north of them, and they don't even. The bad part is they're not even 100% sure of how large that force is north of them, but they know it's big, but they don't even have a clue. And they may have some idea through Jon Snow how small that hunting party is that's south of the wall with them, but yeah, they're in a bad place right now.
Real bad place. Let's get to Moraine. Let's get to the final scenes.
Okay.
So let's talk first about Dario. Yeah, man. So Moraine sends out their best champion, their best warrior.
Yeah.
It's like, look, so we're gonna send this guy outside the gates. Who we got? Who's our best warrior?
Because Grey Worm Beast, you speak up first. Which, Jorah, you won't let another dude speak up before you.
Well, see, and Jorah's a friend. He was about to say something. He was like, and then Grey Worm spoke. He was like, oh shit. It was like, and then of course, Selmy steps up. And Daenerys is like, look, man, I need you. Then Jorah steps up, and he's like, look, I've been by your side longer than any of these motherfuckers.
Which is why he should have spoke up first. Look, I'm Team Jorah, man. I'm Team Friendzone. I feel for that dude. He has my deepest sympathies. But like you dropped the ball right there, Jay. I'm just saying.
He was about to say something, man.
He was about to get the girl until somebody else got the girl. That's his problem.
That's the story of his life.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get him out the friend zone.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for Jorah. I mean, maybe he can get a kiss on the lips before he dies.
That would be the worst. That would be worse. That would be so bad.
Like, that's what's going to kill him is a kiss on the lips from Dany. But Dario steps up and. So there's like a little like jousting match. Kind of call it jousting.
One-sided.
One-sided, yeah.
Basically, he threw his freaking dagger in the horse eye.
Yeah, and I like that shot when it's coming towards him while he's just standing there. I thought that was kind of badass.
Yeah.
But then we get this amazing, rousing speech. From Dany, the breaker of chains. So they take, and we see it on here on the screen on the screen here, where they take the what's it, the slingshot we call it?
Catapults.
Catapults?
Yeah.
Catapult, giant slingshot.
This is a sling. Nah, that's a catapult.
I'm not up to my medieval weaponry. I'm not. It's not something I'm up to. So the catapults, and they got the barrels and they catapult over the walls of Moraine, and they crash into the walls and they break, and they see the chains from Yunkai, the chains, the
collar, the neck,
the collars, the collars from Yunkai, the collars from Astapor, because she says, look, I've freed the slaves, they stand behind me, so basically I am the breaker of chains. And I love that moment when those barrels break and the slaves there with their masters there who look frightened and scared and like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? This lady is emboldening these slaves. We need to get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah.
And that one slave picks up the collar, and it just cuts to black. And I don't know why. The first time I saw that, I loved that moment. I was like, and just seeing that in the title of the show, Breaker of Chains, I just thought that was just a great moment. Thematically, it works. Go ahead, Darren.
I really don't have shit to say. To me, it just don't make sense. I get what they were trying to do. I get the purpose of the scene thematically and all that. But you gonna hurl catapults with these giant barrels full of chains and shit at the people that you're talking to that you bought the free. Like, what if them shits had to hit somebody? It's women and kids up there and men up there that don't deserve to be hit by giant barrels filled with chains. Like,
yeah, but we don't know that.
We don't
know that.
You say that. There's one shot when that one lady, she does like this because shit is raining down around her. Like, what if one of them things that hit her in the head? That was dumb. That's poor planning and poor oversight.
But they didn't.
Because of the... Like I said, I'm not going because I don't want people flaming me or whatever. That just don't make sense to me.
I mean, look. If you look at it logistically, okay. I mean, you're right. I'm not going to argue against that. But I'm just saying, for the show and how that scene plays out and what it means as a metaphor, symbolically, as the breaker of chains for the theme of what this episode was about. I thought it was just beautifully done. It was just really good. But you're right. I mean,
she could have just dumped the chains out on the ground right there and like, yo, this is all they
it wouldn't have had the same impact. Wouldn't have had the same effect. Like, how you know? You see how these shows are. Like, so she gives that speech and then she just lays them out in front of her. And like, so the slaves on the other side of Marine can't see what the hell that is.
They could have had them catapults like further back in the ranks and flung them up, and then have them come down and just break like that, like on the ground or whatever.
Yeah, but you need the shot of that one slave picking up the collar, because that's the shot that you end the show on. That's what you want to end the show on, man. Look. That's how I would have done it. I liked it. I love the way this.
Cool. I ain't taking it away from it. I'm just saying, like, that shit just didn't work for me. You know, the world's still gonna keep spinning.
It's gonna keep spinning.
It'll be all right.
It's gonna keep spinning.
It'll be all right.
See, and that's the great thing about fandom. We can disagree, and the world keeps going forward. Mm-hmm. That is episode 3, Breaker of Chains, directed by Alex. I was supposed to say Alex Cross. Alex Cross. Remember, is that fucking Tyler Perry? Yeah. Alex Cross. Ooh, yeah, let's not talk about that. Directed by Alex Graves, Breaker of Chains, episode 3 of season 4. So let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Remember to rate, like, subscribe, and share. And go ahead and check out our other dorks at Mouth Dork, at WB Dash, at Sidewalk Siren. Check out the podcast at ItModcast. I am the Turtle Dork. This guy is Disco, the Disco Dork. And with that, we're out.